Well, howdy guys. I hope everybody's having a good weekend. It is a Sunday afternoon. Nice day. It was cold this morning, but it's pretty nice now. It's probably close to 60 degrees. The sun is shining. There's no wind. And I'm going to do a little review today of my MaxxD trailer. This one's a little different. I've done a couple of reviews on this before, but today we're doing a comparison. And over here, I've got a nice new Lamar dump trailer. That's a 14-foot. I believe that's, I don't think it's their low profile. I think the low profile has slightly shorter sides. But this is a 14-foot long by 7-foot wide by 2-foot high sides. It's a scissor lift dump trailer. This does not belong to me. It is on loan just to make this video. My nephew just got this thing and he really likes it, and we made a trip together to the landfill yesterday. I had a big load of junk and he had a load of landscaping stuff, and so we went up there and dumped that all. But I wanted to do a side-by-side with these two and talk about the differences. Obviously they're not the same trailer, they're not the same maker, they have different lift systems, they're different sizes, they're different configurations. There's a lot of differences between them, but there's some good things and some bad things about both of them. And I just wanted to kind of talk about those a little bit. So I'm going to get into that here in just a second. I'm going to start out with size, capacity, length, all those sorts of things. So the MaxxD, which is my trailer, that is a 16-foot long box, 7 feet wide at the bottom, and it flares at the top, and it's 8 feet wide at the top. And the sides are 3 feet high. On this Lamar, it's a 14-foot box, 2-foot high sides, and it's 7 feet wide all the way from the bottom to the top. That one has 7,000-pound Lippert axles, and you'll notice that even though those are 7,000 pounders, they are 8-lug, which is an upgrade. That's an upgraded 7,000-pound axle that comes with those. They are the greasable bearings. They are not oil baths. And this came with the 14-ply tire upgrade as well, which is very nice. On my trailer here on the MaxxD, these are 8,000-pound axles. They also are 8 lugs. These have been converted from the oil bath to greasable bearings. I just don't care for the oil bath bearings. If the seal goes bad, you lose all your oil and you're in a pickle. If the seal goes bad on this, you lose a little bit of grease, but not nearly all of it. So, and this comes with 16-ply tires, a little bit heavier rating. So, as you can see on the side of the Lamar, it says it right there, 7-gauge floor. The MaxxD also has a 7-gauge floor. They both have 10-gauge sidewalls. Which is plenty stout. 10 gauge is close to 1/8 of an inch, and 7 gauge is pretty close to 1/4 of an inch for the bottom. So they're very stout, very well made. They can handle a lot of abuse, getting rocks and stuff dropped down into them, things like that. So the Lamar, this one is rated at 14,000 pounds gross weight rating. The trailer, I believe, weighs in just under 4,000 pounds, or almost right at 4,000 pounds, sitting empty. The MaxxD is rated at a gross total weight of 17,500 pounds, and it weighs in about 6,300 pounds sitting empty. Probably closer to 65 with my tools and all the stuff in it. But I did take out the ramps, and the ramps are probably 150 pounds each. So those are sitting at home because I don't need them during normal use, so that shaved another 300 off there. The MaxxD has two 10,000-pound drop leg jacks in the front, and the Lamar has a single 12,000-pound drop leg in the front. Both are manual. Neither one of them has the hydraulic option on there. The Lamar is an adjustable coupler. You could put a what do you call it, a pintle loop on there, a pintle eye. You could put different configurations of hitches, whatever you wanted to put on there. And you can adjust it up and down to accommodate the size of your truck or the hitch on your truck or whatever. This one, let's see, I'll have to do some calculating, and I will do that here in just 1 minute. My trailer, I have calculated out before. If you measure out the inside, the height, the depth, and the width, it is about 14 cubic yards of volume. And I'm going to say this one here is going to be around 8 cubic yards of volume. That's the way it sits right now. It does have stake pockets on the side, so you could easily add some sidewalls to this Lamar if you wanted to, and raise the height of it and increase your capacity that way. Mine does not have stake pockets on the rails. You can see the rails up there. It can be done. They make some brackets for mounting on the sides to then add some either 2x12s or whatever you wanted to add to raise it up. But this thing has a lot of capacity, and it's already pretty tall. So like, I'm standing here, I'm 5'10", and my eyeballs are right at the top rail there. So if it was 4 feet high, the sides, with as tall as the trailer is, it could be challenging to load stuff in there. The smaller sides on the Lamar actually would be a benefit for loading heavier items if you can't put them in through the back. Okay, one other thing here quick. Overall length, I have a couple of marks on the ground right in front of the trailer. You can see that piece of tape there. I have another one over there in front of mine. That's where I had, when I unhooked them, that's where the truck was. So overall length for the Lamar hooked to my truck is 41 feet 8 inches. The overall length with my gooseneck hooked to my truck is 43 feet 7 inches. So just shy of 2 feet longer as a combination with my truck and that trailer. Now the gooseneck trailer is significantly longer overall. As you can see here, where the coupler is, the coupler on the Lamar is basically at the front drop jack on my trailer. But the majority of that gooseneck is in the bed of my truck. So it doesn't really add overall length. So they're very, very comparable in that way. The gooseneck is a little bit more maneuverable because you can jackknife the truck and you can make some really, really tight turns with that. But this Lamar pulled really nice. I've only pulled it a little ways. I'm just brought it up here to where I'm making this video. And it was easy to steer and easy to turn. It's long enough that it doesn't overreact. If any of you have ever pulled little short trailers on the bumper pull type hitch, then they react really quick and they turn really fast, and they'll jackknife on you, and then you got to pull forward, and so it can be a pain in the neck. This one is the right length, so it's comfortable and easy to do that. All right, now we're going to take a look at the toolboxes. I showed you the toolbox on mine before. It's the full width of the trailer. It's nice and big. This trailer comes with 2 batteries. There's your hydraulic reservoir over there, and the standard 15-foot tethered remote or tethered controller for raising the trailer up and down. I also wired in a remote control right here that I use. This side I've just got some tools. I've got all my bungee cords hooked in there. The bungee cords are what I use to secure the load, secure the tarp on the sides, stuff like that. I've got some trash bags in there and a few other things. So I don't keep a lot of tools up in here. I don't want to add the weight into it. And it's just, there's not honestly that much space for tools. This trailer underneath the bed, when I raise it up, you'll see it. There's a cross bed toolbox. You can see it hanging down on the bottom right there. And that's where I keep a couple of shovels, a couple of brooms, a couple of rakes, stuff like that that I might need during my little different jobs that I do with this trailer. So over here on the Lamar, it has the tongue mounted box. It's a nice big box. It comes with 1 battery, a much smaller hydraulic reservoir and pump, because it is a scissor lift, and the ram is actually relatively short, so it doesn't need nearly as much oil. The ram on my trailer is going to go up close to 16 feet when it's raised all the way up. So it takes a lot of oil to fill that ram up. Same, just like on the MaxxD, there's a charger built in. And this one also comes with a remote control, or I guess you don't really call it a remote. It's a tethered controller for the bed, and it's the same length. It's 15 feet. On this trailer, that's just long enough to be around at the back of the trailer and still be able to hold on to that. Mine, I can't make it quite to the back of the trailer with that tether because it's not quite long enough. And both of them are not long enough to reach up to the front of the truck on my truck and his truck as well. My truck, let me get over here where it'll adjust to the lighting. My truck is a 4-door dually long bed, and I cannot reach all the way up to my driver's window with that tether, so I can't drive and work the bed. That's the whole reason that I got this remote, that I built it on here, is so that, like, if I was spreading gravel or something like that, or at the dump, if I need to pull forward and be raising or lowering the bed at the same time to get something out of it, I can do that with this remote. Well, I couldn't do it with the original one. So we've already talked about it, and I'm going to help him wire one of these onto his as well. It's just a cheapo remote. Get it at I got this one at Harbor Freight, and it's like 39 bucks. It's for a Badland winch. It's a winch remote, actually. So pretty simple, pretty nice fix, and it's been very, very reliable. It works great, and I can be pretty far away from the trailer and it still works really well. Okay, moving on to the back of the trailer. We're going to start here. They both have a combination barn door and spreader gate. So that means that you can open it like this, which is like a barn door. They just swing open and they latch to the side. Or you can hook some chains. The chain goes in here and it pins over here. And then by opening this latch, I can adjust how wide this opens for spreading gravel or different kinds of material. You can do that. And they both come with that function. So that's pretty nice. Alrighty, mine on the MaxxD has these chains built on. They just are mounted to the inside of the door, and those chains come around, and there's a loop under here, and it hooks onto that. Now the full length of the chain, if I just use that, this door will swing open about this far on the side, and I didn't really want it to be able to do that, so I use the little carabiner hook basically, and I hook it on there and shorten that up, keeps it tucked in to the side of the trailer nice and tight. I like the chains. They're pretty simple to use and they're pretty secure. I don't have to worry that it's going to bounce off. On the Lamar, they have a hook right here mounted to the door. You open the door up, and then there's a big D-ring mounted here on the side, and that just hooks on there. So that's pretty secure. I mean, on a bumpy road in the landfill or something, I guess I could envision that thing popping off, but I think it's still pretty unlikely. And it's a nice, simple, strong system. The one thing that I might do differently if it was me, if I was designing it, is put a spring latch right here that this thing would stay latched and there's no way it could bounce out. But they've had great success with this, so you know, it works really good. And it's there's nothing wrong with it. It's just different, and I happen to prefer the chains. Again, we'll go around here and look at the floor. It's a little difficult to see, but this is 7-gauge steel. It's very thick, and it's a one-piece floor. Get over here where the different angles so the sun's not blazing. It's a one-piece sheet steel floor, so that's nice. There's no seams to break or anything like that. My trailer is also a one-piece seamless floor, 7-gauge steel as well. On the Lamar, you can see the thickness of the sides. That's 10-gauge steel, very stout. And then the Lamar is built with their trademark, what's called rigid rails. And these are, the way they fold these over and wrap them around, They're very stout, very strong. And then they have these reinforcements all down the side. And the reinforcements also have a tie-down point hooked into them, or built into them, so that's nice. On the MaxxD, I'm gonna go around to the other side where the sun is the best. The design of the side rails on the MaxxD is actually very, very similar to the rigid rails. It's folded down, it's wrapped all the way around the top, and you can see it wraps down a couple of inches, actually even a little farther than the rigid rails on the Lamar. And then it has side supports welded in here, 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 and one at the back. And these are open at the bottom, and that's what I use when I pull my bungee cords down. I hook them in the bottom of that. So it's very functional, it's very, very strong. The bed is very strong and rigid. It's not gonna bend, it's not gonna flex, it's not gonna do anything crazy. Same thing on that Lamar. Very, very well made, very stout, very rigid. Both are very tough trailers. I'm really, really happy with mine, and I'm sure he's going to be very, very happy with his. Okay, want to talk for a minute about the frame on the trailers. This is the MaxxD. The body, the frame of the body, that's an 8-inch I-beam under the bed, full length of the trailer. On the side right here, on the upright, that's 12 inches. Get that where you can see it. And then the top piece, the top of the gooseneck, that's 10 inches. So it's very beefy frame, very strong, not gonna bend or flex or warp or do anything crazy. So on the Lamar, this also is an 8-inch I-beam on the side, and that wraps all the way around. Nice big corner gussets, very strong, and runs the full length of the trailer all the way to the end. This coupler, gosh, I don't even know what that coupler is rated for. A lot. Very heavy duty, very, very stout, thick steel. It's got these nice cutouts for the safety chains. That's a pretty nice feature. Easy to hook them up, easy to keep them. It has the blue, the wire to hook to the truck. This blue, from what I understand, is a silicone material, and it's a cold weather upgrade, I guess. So at really, really cold temperatures, that stays flexible. Mine does not have the blue silicone. Mine has the black, regular, whatever that is, if it's rubber or something. It's been very cold here lately, 20 degrees at night, and it hasn't been brittle or stiff or anything like that. It's very functional. This is Arizona. I don't need the cold weather package here. This has the 30,000 pound rated coupler on it. It is manually operated this way. They do make a version that's spring loaded, so you would have it set like that, and then as you lowered it down onto the ball, this would pop open and close automatically. Mine doesn't do that, but that's not a big deal. It's adjustable coupler, and I have it's made by Fort Knox locks, and there's a coupler lock there, and then I have another, the part that goes on the bottom, another big heavy duty lock to keep my trailer safe from being stolen. This one has a kind of a cool feature. This, if you take this pin out, with this thing down, if you put the ball into there and push it up or let this down onto it, this will automatically pop up and then let back down and lock. But it won't do that to take it off. To take it off, you prop it all the way up, crank the jack up and bring that thing up off of the ball, and then you pull out from under it. But it's nice to assist you with hooking up. You don't have to mess with propping it open or locking it open or do anything like that. Okay, now we're gonna have a little comparison on raising and lowering. So I've got the remote here in my hand for the one, and I have my little remote in my other hand, and we're gonna raise these up at the same time and see how they do next to each other. Little delay on the Lamar getting started, but it's going pretty quick. Mine is still cold, and mine runs a little slower when it's cold, but that's all right. That's part of the test. Boy, the Lamar's really going up fast. Mine's really dragging. It's got to gain some speed here. When it hits that second stage of the hydraulics, it'll speed up just a little bit. I don't think it's going to be enough to catch up though. There, mine just sped up a little bit. Okay, the Lamar has reached max height. I'm gonna set this remote down. Now mine's still going up. It's going a little faster now. It's up to about the speed that the Lamar was at. Now it just hit the last stage. It will go pretty tall. It's got a pretty good dump angle. I think they're both probably very similar in the angle. That's just hit the top. Okay, we're gonna walk over here beside, get a look. The angle's very similar. See them beside each other. Looks like the MaxxD may have a tiny bit steeper angle, but man, it is so slight if it is. Okay, now we're going to do a little comparison of some of the components under the trailer. Okay, so here is the MaxxD all the way up. Very long telescopic ram. That's why you got to have that big oil reservoir. Here's the toolbox underneath. You can see that. And then over here also is a safety leg, a safety prop. So if you're going to be under the trailer at all working while that thing was up, you'd want to set that up so it can't fall all the way down and smash you. Got the axle, suspension under there. You can see on the bottom of the trailer there are two separate slots or built-in supports to hold the ramps. And then you have your cross members there all the way up the trailer to the top, and those cross members are 12 inches. They're set on 12-inch centers. The fenders are attached to the body. They're nice and rigid and welded on there, so they're not going to get wobbled or bent or anything like that. Gives you good access to work on the wheels, the brakes, anything you might have to work on under there. You put the trailer bed up and you got good access to everything, to all your wiring and whatnot. Okay, so we'll go around here to the Lamar. Look underneath. So you've got a little different structure underneath. You got a frame built in to hold that, to cover the scissor lift. And then the way the scissor lift is attached up there, got some lengthwise supports running up and down the trailer this way. You have cross members down at the bottom, and you have again a separate rack system there to hold the ramps, and his ramps are actually in there. So you do have a big section there in the middle where that scissor lift has to fold up that doesn't have a cross member in it, but the way they've done those sides lengthwise this way and supports across the front, I think it's very, very stout. You don't have to worry about anything like that being damaged or whatever. Both of these, if you look, use this thing as a pointer here, this piece of the frame rail fits inside the frame of the trailer. so it kind of nestles down in there. This one's the same way. This piece of the frame rail sits down, nestles inside of there, so it sits totally flat, and that gives you a little bit lower approach angle at the back of the trailer for loading equipment or whatnot. Some manufacturers build it so that this frame rail here on the bottom of the bed actually sits on top of the frame, and that increases your height by 4 inches. So they're both designed not to do that. This one, it's a little bit longer, so you know, you want to have a little more support. There's a little lip right there, that little tang, one on each side, to keep the bed centered as it drops down. This one does not have that, I don't believe, but it's probably overkill anyway. That, by the way, that hydraulic cylinder, I did measure it. It's a 6-inch cylinder, and you can see it doesn't have to push real far to raise that bed up. It's not a super long push. The scissor mechanism does a lot of the work, does most of the work, so that's why it's a little faster. It doesn't have to push near as far. Okay, here in a second we'll do a let them down comparison. The Lamar has both gravity feed down, the option for that, but it also has power down. That's what's standard. So there's a button you push on there, and it pumps the hydraulic fluid back out of that cylinder, so it comes down a little faster. Mine is only gravity down, which is great. It doesn't use any battery power or anything, but on a cooler day like today, it can be pretty darn slow coming down. So I probably won't video that one all the way down. I'll video the Lamar all the way down, see how much further mine has to go, and then I'll let it the rest of the way down off camera, because the lower it gets, the slower it gets. Here we go. I've got the controller again in my hand, powered down. You can see that on here. Mine is just gravity down. So here we go. Mine's keeping up pretty good right now coming down. It actually might be going faster. Oh, and there it hit the second stage of the hydraulics, and it slowed it down for sure. Power down is not really as fast as I thought it would be going down. I thought it was going to be a little quicker than that. They seem to be about even. I'm really shocked. Mine's going to slow down a lot though here in just 1 second right there. It just hit the bottom of that third stage, which is the largest stage of the hydraulics, the most amount of oil to get back out of there. So the Lamar is going to be down right now. It's down. Mine is still going. Still going. Moving so slow that bird didn't even realize it. It's not going to be that much longer. Come on, baby. It's definitely quicker right now than it was the other morning at the landfill. If you saw my landfill video, the little quick run to the dump, it was really cold, 25 degrees I think, while we were up there, and I bet it took 5 times as long as it's taking right now to bring that bed all the way down. It was just unbelievable. Several minutes to bring it down. This has probably been a minute and a half, something like that, and it's down all the way. That's pretty close to wrapping it up here, I think. Showed you a lot of the different features on there. Couple of things I didn't touch on before. I'll catch them real quick right here. They both have mounted spare tires. They come with them, and they have a place to mount them on the trailer itself. The Lamar, it's on the side, and on mine, it's up on top of the gooseneck. Let's see here. We'll come around the back. They both have the support jacks in the back. That's so that you can put those down on the ground, and if you're loading something, if you're using the ramps on the back, it gives support to the back of the trailer. It doesn't squish down so much and lift up so much on the hitch on either one. Both of them have these nice heavy steel pieces welded on the back for the ramps to hook onto. very, very stout, very well built. They're not going to bend or fall apart. So the same thing over here. It's got the support jacks, same style of support on the back for the jacks to mount into, to hook into. They both have welded in D-rings. There's one on the side there, one on the side over here, and there's two up in the corners, one on each side. Those are handy if you're hauling equipment, need to tie something down. Same thing here. Got the ones on the side, and then way up in the front there, a little difficult to see with how bright it is. Got D-rings in there. Mine has these little pockets built in here. You could put something in there if you wanted to put a 2x4 down there. You can use it for a tie down point, something like that. And on the Lamar, there's two pockets towards the front there, two basically stake pockets welded to the inside. So you can use that for the same thing. That one is probably so that you can build the sides higher. You wouldn't do that here, I don't think, on this one, because there's nothing down the side rail to add there. There's some, like I mentioned before, there's some brackets that you can get that mount here along the top of this side rail, and then you can add in a 1x12 or something like that. Okay, what else we got? They're very similar construction underneath. Some square tubing, some nice heavy steel pieces where the frame pivots, where the bed pivots. The one on mine is a little bit more hidden up underneath here. Up inside, you can't even see it from the outside. But it's all greasable. They have grease fittings all over the place. They all have LED lighting. The Lamar has these little these little bitty LED dot lights, I guess you call them. And the ones on the MaxxD are a little bigger lights, but they serve the exact same purpose. They have reflective tape around the sides of the trailers, which is a DOT requirement, you know, all that kind of stuff. So got a little space up in between here where the telescope is on this one, and I can actually get up in there and stand if I need to reach over the front to secure some part of the load. And obviously that's not even an issue on this one. You got plenty of room to stand up on the tongue. And this lid here, this thing's really stout. I think you could stand on that if you wanted to and not have to worry about hurting it. And it's easy, it's short, so this is not like shoulder height, just under shoulder height. So loading things over the side is probably a little bit easier, or for sure it's a little bit easier in this trailer. I don't know, this one he hasn't had it very long, so can't speak to how well the powder coating finish is going to hold up on this one. But on mine, it has held up really, really well. It's got some dings and some scratches, but considering all the rock and the gravel and the different kinds of junk I've had in there, it's really holding up very well. Very pleased with that. So I think that's going to do it, guys. I'm going to wrap this up. I think the takeaway from this, you know, it really depends on the purpose that you have for having a trailer, what you're going to use it for. MaxxD and Lamar are two top brands. They both make very, very good products, and I don't think you could go wrong with either one of them, honestly. They're a little bit more expensive than some of the other trailers out there, but you know the old saying, you get what you pay for. And so do your homework, but I hope this comparison helps a little bit. If you're thinking about either one of these two brands, I wouldn't hesitate. They're really, really well made. They have a good track record. There's a lot of them out there in the world in service, and I think most everybody that has these things is really, really happy with them. So that's going to do it for me, guys. Thank you very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video. I hope it was informative and maybe help some of you make a decision. And have a great week, and I will catch you later.